So guys, to make this pastry, this is gonna give you a top and a bottom. So if you're just using the bottom, feel free to freeze the next portion. So here I have my bowl with my flour. Now the bowl, you would see that it's frosted. That's because I had the flour and the bowl in the refrigerator chilling, and that way we'll have a really nice flaky crusty pastry. So to the flour, I'm going to go in with my butter. And I'm using a combination of butter and crisco or cookeen or lard or vegetable shortening. And I was looking for my pastry blender and I couldn't find it. So I'm gonna be using my potato masher. It's gonna work just the same way. And we're basically going to break up the butter into the flour. Now the reason why you don't want to use your hands, which you can do, is because your hands are warm, and when you use your hands, what happens is the butter starts to melt really quickly. If you wanted to put this into your food processor and pulse it until it resembles fine breadcrumbs, you can. Okay, the next set of ingredients, we have some salt, and I'm going to go in with some sugar. Now this is for an apple pie, so if you wanted to make a savory pie dough, you can put 1 teaspoon of sugar or omit the sugar in all. So I'm just gonna give that a mix. Now you could use milk or you can use water for this. I'm gonna be using cold water today. And I had the water hanging out in the refrigerator until I was ready to use it. So I'm going to go in with 1 tablespoon at a time and mix. You just want enough that it will bring it together into a ball. You don't want the dough to be too soft. I'm just gonna go in with my hands and squeeze it to see if it's holding, and it is. So that's enough liquid in there. I actually used 5 tablespoons of water instead of 4. So I'm gonna place this onto my countertop on my pastry board, and we're going to knead this until it comes together into a ball. Now you'll think that you need more water for this, but you actually don't. You just need to keep pressing it together, bringing it together to form a ball. So guys, once your dough comes together, you're going to go ahead and cut it into a half. Wrap 1/2 in a piece of plastic wrap and place it in your refrigerator until you're ready for the top of the pie crust. For this other half of the pie crust, you're going to liberally flour your work surface, and we're going to roll this out to about 1/2 of an inch thickness. This is going to be the base of the pie. So guys, if your dough feels warm and it doesn't feel cold to the touch, you'd want to refrigerate before rolling it out. So guys, now I'm gonna take my crust, and I actually went thinner than 1/2 of an inch. I would say I probably went to 1/4 of an inch. And here I have my pie dish. I'm gonna place this in here. Crimp your edges to make whatever style you like. I'm just following the pie plate itself because it already has that style. And what I'm going to do now is just trim off the excess off of the edge. So guys, I already went ahead and peeled and cored my apples, and all I have to do now is chop it up into about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch thickness. You can cut this up into slices like I'm doing, or you can cube them, whatever works for you. So guys, to the apples, I'm going to go in with some salt. Just a little bit. That salt is going to help bring out the flavors in this dessert. And next I'm going to go in with some cinnamon, or you can use pumpkin spice, whatever you like. I'm also going to go in with fresh nutmeg. I'm using some light brown sugar for this. You can use granulated or you can use dark brown sugar, whatever you like. And the last thing is some lime juice. The lime juice is going to help this or prevent this from oxidizing. Now you want to mix. You'll notice that I haven't added any cornstarch or flour to this. What I want to do is allow this to relax. I want any liquid from the apples to come out, so I'm going to let it sit on my countertop for about 15 minutes just to see if there's any liquid in the apples. If the liquid comes out, then we'll have to reduce that and then add it back to our pie. And we're doing this so that we don't have a soggy pie in the end. So I'm just going to leave it here on my countertop, and once it's finished resting, we'll move on to the next step. So guys, let me show you all. Look how much liquid is coming out of these apples. So I'm just gonna drain out that liquid that we have in here into a bowl or a container. To a saucepan on medium heat, add in your unsalted butter, and you're going to allow that to melt. Once your butter has melted, you're going to go in with a tablespoon of flour. And we're going to allow this to cook on a medium-low heat until it thickens. After that has been cooking for about 1 minute, go in with those juices. And mix. We're going to cook this down until this thickens. You guys see how that's thickening up? That's what you want. We're creating a sweet gravy. This is what's going to help hold the apple pie together. Right, so this is the consistency you want. A nice creamy caramel consistency. So now let's move over to the apples. Let's pour this in. Before I add in my sauce, I'm going to go in with some cornstarch. And I'm just going to mix that. Now in goes our mixture that we made, our caramel sauce, or that thickened apple sauce. And we're going to mix that in. Now you want to pour that apple filling into your pie crust. And guys, if you wanted to buy a store-bought pie crust and make the filling yourself, of course you can do that. Okay, just set this aside. Let's work on the top for this pie. You want to start by liberally flouring your surface. And make sure that this dough does not stick. And we're going to open out this dough to about 1/2 of an inch thickness. You don't want to go too thin for this step.
Now once you've rolled it out, you're going to cut off the ends to make sure you have nice straight edges. And then you're going to cut this into about a 1/2 inch thickness. You're going to need about 16 strips in all. If you get less strips, that's okay, you'll just have more spaces when you're making your lattice pattern.
So place your strips. That's okay if it's hanging over, we'll cut the excess off. So use the longer pieces for the middle and the shorter pieces for the ends. Now we're going to peel back 2 and place one of the long ones in the middle. Bring that back across. Now peel back 1, 2, 3 and place another strip. Now depending on how much of your pie you want showing, that's how close you would bring it. And you're going to continue this until you've put on your entire lattice work. So this one is going to be over, under, over, under, over. So guys, what you want to do now is cut off the extra edges. Now all you have to do is just crimp back your edges to make sure that that lattice work sticks together with what you had before. So guys, before you put your pie into the oven, you want to brush it with your egg wash. It's gonna help give it a really nice golden color. Some people like sprinkling some sugar on theirs, and if you wanted to, you can do that. So once you put on the egg wash, it goes into your oven. We're going to allow it to bake for about 1 hour. You can keep your eye on it. If it's browning really quickly, then you'll know it's going to take a little less time. But basically, you want it to go for at least 45 minutes to 1 hour. Guys, when you take your pie out of the oven, you want to allow it to cool down for at least 15 minutes before you slice into it, because you want the juices in there to cool down. Because if you were to cut into this when it's hot, it's just gonna slide, the filling is just gonna slide right off. So once it's cooled down, I'll come in, cut into it so you guys can see what it looks like. But I can already see how ooey gooey it is all on the ends. So guys, let's give this a taste. It's still pretty hot at this time, but you see how nice and thick the filling is. It's not runny at all. OMG, that is so good. Guys, this apple pie is really tasty. So guys, I'm gonna have me a piece of apple pie. I'm going to enjoy it. I hope you all enjoyed today's recipe. Make it, let me know down below if you like it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.